Yo, what up guys, Travic here, and today I want to talk about the Trial of Sekhemas. Very recently we made a whole video about the Trial of Sekhemas. We talked about how to go through the trial, all the ins and outs of each floor. We talked about the ways that you can ascend your character, but we never talked about the most important thing, the profit inside of the trial. Now, playing before you is a clip of a character that I recently made and put together, and this character's sole entire purpose is to run these trials as fast as possible without having to worry about a lot of the ins and outs of, the afflictions. Essentially, I was playing my monk. I love my monk to death. And I found that I was farming a lot of the Trials of Sekhemas, and I wanted a character that could just do it better. Something that was quicker, something that was snappier, and something that really didn't have to worry about a lot of the afflictions and can get through the trials without with like a lot of ease. Essentially something that could just like go straight forward, not have to worry about anything, and just blitz the whole thing. And that's the character playing before you. Now, the reason I did this is, as some of you guys might have known from coming by the stream, I farm the trials a lot. And I mean an absolute ton. These trials have some really, really, really solid loot that can come out of it that can be extremely profitable. Good hours, you're talking 9 divs an hour. Bad hours, you could be 3-4 divs an hour. It really kind of depends on you, how fast you go through the trial, how lucky you get, a lot of like ins and outs of factors. Now, the trial has access to a ton of different things and a ton of different loot that you can get. There are all kinds of relics. You see relics are falling on my screen now. There's all kinds of jewels. There's time lost jewels. There's grand spectrums. And there's just a large variety of things that can really come out of the event that would really give you a ton, and I mean an absolute ton of profit. Now, some of these items are extremely rare. Some of them are way more common, and some of them that you would just not even think about just sell really well for 30, 40, 50, I was going to say C as in chaos, or exalted orbs, because we're playing Path of Exile 2. Now, there are a bunch of different strategies to run the trial, and what we're really focusing on that you see before us is we're focusing on a lot of speed, and we're focusing on the amount of relics that you fall. Now, we can spend a whole bunch of time in this video talking about every different possible way to farm the Trials of Sekhemas, all the different possible combinations of different runes and relics, but we're not going to do that in today's video. We'll save that for a future video if that's something that really interests you guys. If you guys want to know about various farming strategies and relic setups, let me know down below in the comments section, and I'll do my best to do a ton of research on all the different kinds and get the relic sets and show you what's going on. But as you see playing before you, my character, she is fast. She is moving at a speed that is very abnormal to what your character is probably doing inside of maps. And one of the reasons I have this character the way it is so that it can run these trials really fast. Now, one of the things that I like about the Trials of Sekhemas is I don't need to worry about setting up waystones. I don't need to worry about rolling maps. I don't need to worry about the Alice. I don't need to worry about citadels. All I need to worry about is learning the layouts of each floor. And if my character can dodge fireballs or flame totems, you can see I'm spinning right through these. I'm taking no damage at all because of dodge roll and how OP it is. And we're just blitzing room to room. Once you start running this enough and you learn the layouts, going through the trials is just pretty second nature. Now, in Path of Exile 1, this was called Sanctum. In Path of Exile 2, this is called Trials of Sekhemas. And I did a lot of Sanctum in Path of Exile 1. And I learned that once I realized that I knew the floors inside and out, it was like really, really, really simple. So it's pretty good. We're actually going to stop this clip. I'll save the rest of this run for the end of the video so you guys can see this run. And we'll talk about some of the things that you can get inside the trial. First and foremost, to run the trial, you need to get yourself a bunch of these keys. Now, these keys are really good, and the only thing that you really care about is having floor 4 keys. You want to make sure that you have, 4 floors. So the big prizes come at the end of floor 4 from killing the final boss. And we want to make sure that we have the number of trials is equal to 4. You can, at the end of every floor, get gold chests. These gold chests can have the time lost jewels. We'll talk about those in a second. You can get Arcanist boxes that have a bunch of loot and stuff like that. But the real money maker comes at the end of floor 4. Now, before we talk about the relics and everything, let's talk about what you saw in the clip playing before you. As you see, all of my relics here have movement speed, and they all have something else very similar in common. They have increased quantity of relics dropping. What this means is my character moves at the outright speed of light. It gets a whole bunch of movement speed, and it's dropping double and triple relics. I also have a little bit of dodge roll, and I have a little bit of honor resist so that I don't die. But we essentially, the idea is we want to get so many relics that all of our runs are just constantly filling our tabs with relics, because that's where a lot of the money is. Now, a lot of people don't believe me when I say this. They don't have to believe me, but there is a lot of money in it. And if we look at the trade site, we can see very quickly, we see basic movement speed and basic quantity of relics at low rolls starts 30-40x a piece. And there's not a whole lot of these on the trade site that stay relatively in the lower range. They get up there really fast. As soon as we start moving past 6% movement speed and we go to 7% and we start looking at exalted orbs, there's really none, because as soon as you start getting into 7 and 8%, oh, this is actually pretty good. I should probably buy that when I'm done recording if it's still there. But as soon as you start moving up to a little bit higher of movement speed, these relics immediately become a divine apiece. Now, I know you're probably saying, oh, there's no shot people buy these, but they do. They buy them. They want to run fast. They want to increase their movement speed. They want to look for more relics. And the big reason is relics sell. There is a lot, and I mean an absolute ton of relics that can drop a whole bunch of, like you could sell these for a lot of currency. A really good example is reduced cost of merchants. All right, so wait, let's see. I haven't searched this one up yet, so let's see. I think it's increased prices, and then it is additional choices. So if we actually change our search parameter, I didn't realize this was here, and we search relic, we can actually filter out those other terrible relics, and we can start to see right away that reduced cost of merchants and additional options starts at a relatively expensive rate. I can even double check and search for these in exalted orbs, and none of them, like, they just don't really show up, and they start at almost a div a piece, if not a div a piece. Now I can increase my options a little bit more. I could search for 3 and 10, and we're gonna see right away just how expensive. I think I have to put it in the other box. Just how expensive these get. So we see right there, reduced cost of price. If we filter by reduced cost of price here, to actually remove this, I think I have to put it as negative. If we start and we search and we flip, we see they're 2, 3, 5, 5. And as we start going down, the more the reduced cost of merchant, the more expensive these start to get. And they start to become 10 divs a piece, like really quickly. And this strategy that, people are doing, like, becomes relatively insane really quick. Okay, so there's no 4 options. There's only 3 options. And you can see they just get really expensive, especially depending on what shape that you're looking for. So these can end up being insanely expensive. On top of that, if you're not just selling these small little ones that people are looking for, let's filter this by relics. We're doing dodge roll and movement speed here. We could see they start 70, 80, 90 exalts. There's hardly any of them. And I filtered these to divines, or let's just filter these out to relative. You start to see they're all expensive. A lot of people don't realize there's a lot of combinations of these relics that are worth a fortune. On top of that, not only are some of these relics worth a fortune, some of the unique relics that you get at the end are also worth 3 div a piece. I make a lot of my profit inside of the, the trials selling these Desperate Alliance relics. These are like insanely expensive. And if you get super lucky, you hit the last flame. Now, I know somebody's going to say in the comments, but the last flame's really rare and you might not get it. Well, I'll tell you, I have run a ton of Sanctum and Path of Exile 1, and I've seen the original Sin scripture a whole lot, an absolute ton. And it's one of the ways in Sanctum I've made a ton of my currency. The original Sin is the equivalent to the last flame in Path of Exile 1 and is worth close to a mirror in PoE 1, if not a mirror, depending on the stage of the league. But people are actively buying these 19 right here. And we can see, because Temporalis, if I look for Temporalis on the trade site, they're there. They're expensive. People are buying them. People are selling them. You could buy the armor for 90. So, I mean, it's there. It exists. People are buying the runs, doing the runs, and then selling the armors. So, just something to think about. Outside of that, doing the runs too, you have things that you can drop that are very, very, very expensive. Let's see. I have one here. You could drop things like these. These are the time lost jewels. These aren't very easy to search on the trade website, but these come out of Sanctum themselves. So you can get things like this. This is the one that my monk uses. I found a second one. I just threw it in a tab, threw an insane price on it because there's no way to search for it. I'm actually going to use it. I just wanted to showcase to you guys that these come out of Sanctum and you can get a ton of these things. I believe I have like a whole whopping mess of them that I plan on like crafting with and doing things with that I just have tossed into my one div dump tab for right now to mess with. But these are all coming out of Sanctum. Now this one actually dropped naturally for me. The one on my monk, if you've seen the one that my monk has, is extremely similar to this one. It has one line difference. This dropped naturally for me inside of Sanctum. Outside of that too, there are things that are dropping inside of Sanctum called Grand Spectrums. I don't know if you guys have seen these before, but I'm going to pull up the trade site again and we're going to look up Grand Spectrums. There's the Ruby, Emerald, and Sapphire, and these two are just worth multi-divine each. And these are things that people don't realize are dropping inside of the trials. This one immediately goes up to 5, 2% increased spirit per socketed Grand Spectrum. I wonder how many people even know this exists. That you could just increase spirit per Grand Spectrum. Like, that's crazy. Actually insane. And then there's the last one. This one is just elemental, like just a straight up 4% elemental resistances for just socketing a Grand Spectrum. And you can mix and match these. I can have one Ruby, one Emerald, and one Sapphire and get the effects of having 3 Grand Spectrum. So I'd get 12% all resistance, 6% spirit, and plus whatever the red one did. But these are things that you can be doing and things that you can be farming. Outside of that too, we get a ton, and I mean a ton of these jewels. Like so many, I don't even know what to do with them all. If I just look for like right here, like there's all these jewels, and then I guess I filtered the rest of them out. I have all these jewels still to go through, and I have all these jewels still to go through, and I have all these jewels to go through, and there's just so much loot. There's just so much loot, and it's great. Like I said, I don't have to worry about maps. I don't have to worry about setting up maps. I don't have to worry about any hootenannies and whatanannies. I don't got to worry about towers and chasing citadels. I ain't got to worry about a damn thing. All I got to do is get these Barias or Barias. All I got to do is get the Sanctum token and run the event. That's all I got to do. But I won't lie to you. It is hard. It is difficult. You probably do need to practice. You are probably going to fail a lot doing it. It is something that is going to take a little bit of time to learn and a little bit of investment. Like I said, my monk can do it really well. So if you're playing the monk character that I've been, putting videos out for, you can do it. It will go very well for you if you have the monk. But there are a couple of afflictions that will immediately break the, monk and just ruin the run. And that feels bad. It does. That's why I made a whole nother character. So I made a Hex Blast character to just start doing Hex Blast things. This character's been an absolute blast. You're going to see it in the video in a minute and how it plays and how it performs. And if you guys want to know more about the Hex Blast character, let me know in the comments down below. But I really just wanted to make this video. I know it ran a little bit longer than I wanted to with the explanations and what's going on, but I really wanted to showcase that there is a lot, an absolute ton of profit to be made in the trials. I have paid for both of my characters almost solely from running the trials. And if you're wondering like, how do I make a little bit of currency? What do I do? What can I do? What should I not do? Get a couple of cheap relics, like the cheap ones, just get some movement speed and just go try the trials. I know they suck, but once you get in the hang of it and you start moving, you get a little bit of honor resist, a little bit of movement speed, you understand the patterns of the flame things, you put on an ignite charm, really important, put on an ignite charm, you will have an absolute stunning time. It is fantastic. It is so much fun. It is great. I'm going to finish this video. I'm going to go run more of it myself and you'll just have a really good time. Now, if you want, you come by the live stream, you'll see me running these live. I do these a lot. If you want to talk to me about it or ask me questions about it, don't hesitate to leave a comment. Stop by the Discord, come by the live stream, ask about the trials. I'll be more than happy to answer questions about it. But for now, I'm going to cut over to the video of me doing the rest of that run. You guys can see that full run in action, what it looks like, what happens. The run wasn't very good. It wasn't a very profitable run, but I want to give you a realistic expectation. Some runs are going to be good, some runs are going to be bad, and some runs are going to just completely blow your mind. But for now, friends, I'm going to give this video to you guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. And if you made it this far, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and do all that fun stuff. But I'll see you all in the next one.
desert.
Another corpse to serve.
A great challenge overcome.
To darkness.
That was close. Relish your mortality. Relish your mortality. The ritual has been disrupted. That was close. The foe ahead is formidable.
To darkness.
Greetings. Onwards, always. desert.
It's about time.
Overcome.
defeat has been predestined. It is written in the sands. There can be no escape. Watch your step.